Bitcoin just hit a new low for the year, and a lot of other cryptos are down pretty significantly as well, with Ethereum under 1100. We have news on who is selling right now, what's happening with FTX, what's happening with Genesis, what's happening with Bitcoin miners. We also have news about a $600 million scam that was just revealed, and we have some other news that we should cover as well, including a new Sam Bankman-Fried FTX scam. So stay through to the end on this. We're going to get into a lot of different important information. There's also a link down there to BitGet in case you want to start longing and shorting. I talked about in yesterday's video how I thought that we could have a ticking time bomb with Genesis in the next 24 hours. Now, while that hasn't quite come to fruition yet, that short would have actually done quite well, and you can use BitGet to do that. Bitcoin, Genesis, Ethereum, this is all trending. We have a lot of people interested in crypto right now. And while I said say goodbye, and we had a 24-hour ticking time bomb yesterday, that does not mean that I think that crypto's done. That does mean that you might have to say goodbye to DCG if they aren't able to raise funds. But we'll talk more about that here in a second. Now, we did have some pretty large long liquidations yesterday, over 120 million, with also 38 million of shorts being liquidated. You can see that was a pretty big increase from what we had seen in the days prior. Nothing close to what we had seen back in early November, but still a significant amount. You can also see that not only are maybe retail investors and medium-sized investors shorting the market, but we're also having a lot of bigger investors short the market as well. We can see short Bitcoin had 18.4 million in inflows last week. We also had a significant amount going into short Ethereum, which is almost this entire 14.5 million here. So while we had about 43.7 million go into assets, the majority of it, like 75% of it, was going into short these crypto assets. Now, this is obviously it has been a good time to short assets, but I think that is just one part of it. People shorting the market, that has definitely pushed down the market, but we also have Genesis and the fallout from FTX. A lot of people are wondering, is Genesis going to be able to make it through? Are they going to be able to raise fresh cash, or is DCG going to be able to make them whole again, or are they going to be able to raise money somehow? And they say here in this Bloomberg article that they may have to file for bankruptcy if the efforts fail to raise about a $1.1 billion infusion of cash. This is according to people with knowledge on the matter. Now, I don't know who exactly they're talking to, but they just came out today, Genesis did, and they said, we have no plans to file bankruptcy immediately. Our goal is to resolve the current situation consensually without the need for a bankruptcy filing. Genesis continues to have constructive conversations with creditors. It sounds like right now that Binance is out of the picture again. There was some talk about whether they were going to be included in this, but I would assume they're probably trying to make sure that they don't over leverage themselves as well. Unless the deal is good enough, I suppose anyone would take a deal if it's good enough. But at this point, it looks like they're out of the picture. It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the coming days. Gemini did say that they are trying to work with Genesis now on getting back the funds from Gemini Earn as well. So hopefully that does happen, because there are a lot of people that are tied up with Genesis. So that is going to be the big question. Are they able to actually make it through this or not? They also have Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. I've talked about them for the last few days, so I won't go too much into that, but there could be a lot of fallout if they actually go bankrupt. Now, who is selling right now? We can actually see this from the Bitcoin realized profit and loss. We have about $1.45 billion worth of realized losses, which is significant compared to a realized profit of just $0.083 billion, so 83 million. This means the majority, 90% plus, 95% plus of people selling right now are at a loss, and they're just trying to get out before they lose any more money. You can see there is some capitulation definitely with these types of investors selling at a loss. We also have some news from Bitcoin miners, and I've talked about this. This is kind of another thing that could cause the market to fall down. We have the problem that it's so unprofitable right now to mine Bitcoin, just because the hash rate is at all-time highs, and we also are down 77% from the top. A lot of them are not in a great spot, whether it's with their cash or whether they just leverage too much. A lot of them aren't able to meet their financial obligations. And we just heard from Iris Energy, they're going to cut mining hardware after defaulting on a $108 million loan. They have to basically unplug these miners. They generated around $2 million in Bitcoin gross profit per month, but they can't cover the $7 million in debt obligations. So their hash rate's falling. Now this actually kind of helps out the rest of the miners because that will actually bring down the hash rate, making it more profitable for the other miners. So whoever can make it through this will be in a better spot overall. So that's another thing that a lot of people I think are worried about in the crypto market. Now we do have CPI here in a few weeks. That could be the major turning point. A lot of people think that after this part of the year that we will see crypto turn up and to the right beginning of next year. And we have that CPI reading on December 13. Keep in mind, it's not just crypto and Bitcoin that have gone down this year. Other companies like Tesla, for example, are down 59% from the high. And while Bitcoin is down more, while other cryptocurrencies are down more, keep in mind, Tesla is a very strong company. They've been raising revenue 50% a year consistently. They expect to be able to raise profit 50% over the year and going into next year. So companies, good quality companies too, and while Tesla was a little bit expensive, are still being affected by this kind of rate cycle. So don't think that just because you invested into crypto that you are the worst investor out there, right? There are a lot of companies down even more than some cryptocurrencies. Now, there's something that we should hit on as well, but before we do, I do want to say thank you to moomoo. There's a link down there underneath the video. If you put $100 on the platform, you can get 5 free stocks. You can also get a $10 bonus. And then if you have $1,000 on the platform, you can get up to 15 free stocks. Usually it's $2,000 on the platform. They just moved it back to $1,000. So if you want to check out that link underneath the video, I do appreciate it. Just make sure you deposit so you get some free stocks. Now, there was some news of a Sam Bankman-Fried FTX deepfake. So you have to be careful about this. This was going around on Twitter over the weekend, supposedly. I never saw it, but they were basically trying to get you to send crypto to them, and they would double it just like the normal thing. And they hadn't made apparently any money from Bitcoin. They had made about $1,000, it sounds like, in Ethereum deposits from people thinking that if you sent them your crypto, that Sam Bankman-Fried would send you your crypto back from FTX or double it or whatever it is. So just be careful. There are always scammers out there, especially around big events. And the last thing I want to talk about, Hashflare founders arrested in an astounding $575 million crypto fraud scheme. This sounds like it was basically a way to apparently rent out some of their hash rate, so you could like pay a certain amount of time and then they would give you whatever crypto is mined from that. And apparently this just these people were just arrested in Estonia, and this is going back all the way to 2015. And apparently they made an enormous Ponzi scheme, and it kind of sounds like it, right? You send in some money, then they send you crypto back, and they apparently mined it. But you can see how that would be really easy to make into a Ponzi scheme. So I think this just reminds us, be careful. I think if we have learned anything through this cycle and throughout the last year or two, that maybe it's best just to hold on a hardware wallet or hot wallet, cold wallet, and then sell for a profit. When you get some profit, sell a little bit, right? And you don't need to get too fancy with it. If you just buy and hold some of the top cryptocurrencies and you buy at a good time, you sell at a good time, you can make a ton of money. It's not worth taking all this risk to get some kind of extra little boost or something like that. So be careful out there. It's still a crazy time. Bitcoin is down about 77%, 78% from its high. I am buying consistently. I'm still buying. Now that doesn't mean I won't short or long short term as kind of a trading strategy, but it's all to get more Bitcoin in the end. I like Bitcoin at this price for the long term. That doesn't mean we can't fall further. There's still people selling. There's still people worried about contagion, and we could definitely see more legs down if there's more contagion that spreads, if there's more of this rot that we have to get out of the market, right? People over leverage, people doing stupid stuff, people with Ponzi schemes, or just people that need to be flushed out. They're too aggressive. So if you want to start long and shorting too, again, there's that link underneath the video. There's also a link down there to the Patreon in case you want to know what I'm doing, whether it's buying stocks or buying crypto or shorting or whatever. You can check out the link to the Patreon underneath the video. Thank you. And I'll keep you updated as soon as I get more news. Bye.